announce the new leader of the next chapter of the University of North Dakota and its 13th permanent president, Casey Ryan, who co-chaired the search committee on behalf of the board, and I couldn't be more excited to announce President Andrew Armacost. Thank you so much.
Well, this is a distinct honor for me. My voice is a little worn out from a lot of conversations over the last day, but I'm so proud to be able to be called the president of the University of North Dakota. I've had the chance over the last 2 weeks to participate in many meetings with constituencies here at the university, students, faculty, staff, members of the Grand Forks community. And what I've seen in them is a love of the university and a love of the state of North Dakota. And I'm honored to be able to take the helm of the university and to really continue to propel it in a direction that will take the university far. Growth in research, growth in educational programs, growth in a sense of community. These are all factors that really will focus on immediately when I step on campus. In addition, I'd like to thank the people who made this process possible. So you met the board chairman, Nick Hacker, who kindly chaired the committee that we met with today, the State Board of Higher Education, who chose me for this role. And I appreciate his contributions and his insights and his tough questions today as well. And then the committee chairs for the search committee, Dr. Casey Ryan and Dean Denny Elbert, did an amazing job assembling a great team who screened many candidates and ended up whittling it down to 6 and finally to 3 and now to 1. And the work that they did showed their great insight and their great passion for the University of North Dakota. And all the members of that committee as well, the time and effort that they spent show their deep commitment to what the University of North Dakota really has to offer. So it's my pleasure to be a member of this community, to join the city of Grand Forks. And Kathy and I will make the journey to Grand Forks from Colorado Springs at some point in the near future. And we're eager to get started and eager to get the important work of this university underway. We're building on a proud legacy of many great leaders, great educators, great students who have passed through the doors of the university. I'm proud to be part of it, and I'm proud to be a member of the Fighting Hawks. Thank you.
You can open it up to questions now. I'll turn the mic on. I'll open it up to questions now.
I'm the senior officer. We need a date of birth and a starting date.
The date of birth is October 25th, 1967. And our starting date is June 1st, of 2020, or perhaps earlier.
June 1st.
June 1st, or perhaps earlier.
Now I'll let the real journalist.
Great, thank you.
Walk me through what your first year is going to look like in terms of building upon that community and UAS research?
Right, so this is a great question about, everybody always asks, what's your first 90 days, or what's your first 100 days, or in your case, what's your first year going to look like? I can guarantee you it's going to be a lot of time and effort spent with people, individually and in groups, to understand what issues they've faced and how they think this university can grow and become even better. And this will consume a lot of time. And the stakeholders I'm talking about, the community members that I'm talking about, are students, faculty, staff, donors, alumni, of course the state legislature and the Board of Education. These are all key relationships that have to be built from the very start of the tenure of a president. I can't wait for the 2-year legislative cycle to kick in. Those relationships have to begin immediately. In addition to those constituencies, you bring up the work on unmanned aerial systems, or UASs, or UAVs, and more generally is the grand challenges that we've set down as a university, the 5 grand challenges on health, on autonomy, and UAVs, and on energy. and to really focus and make sure that the resources that we need to operate those programs are found. That they're in good shape now. The research portfolio that we have is well funded, but looking for opportunities to expand those programs through partnerships with other universities, partnerships with industry, and also partnerships with professional societies as well. It's a huge growth area, and I think the state of North Dakota can benefit tremendously by growth in these areas, to work on these technologies, and the potential commercialization and tech transfer of the work that we accomplish. Thank you.
Given your background, what do you see as the relationship between UND and the base?
And of the base, Grand Forks Air Force Base, I think there's a great partnership both with the active duty Air Force units and seeing how technologies that are created here can support the Air Force, but also a great partnership with the Grand Sky facility, which is hosted at the base as a public-private partnership. There's an extraordinary opportunity with an infusing of funds coming from the federal government to support work in unmanned systems, and I think UND has to be central to all of those efforts.
How will you give students a voice on campus? Like, how will they be able to, will you be working on getting input from them or making any changes that they want?
So I first have to understand the structures by which students currently participate. I know from the student forum when I was here 2 weeks ago that there are many students who actively engage in the matters of this university. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been there to interview all the candidates. And so understanding what forms, how student government is structured, and what student groups exist. There is a large number, I think the number is probably over 200, and to create touch points with each of those groups to let them know how I and the other senior leaders of this institution can support them. So my presence, my personal presence with those groups and with individual students has to begin from day one.
What will your starting salary be?
That's part of the contract. I think that will be made available at some later point, but it's consistent with what's been legislatively approved.
Well, what does this mean for you and your family, being able to take this next step?
Well, having been in the Air Force for 30 years, 20 of which were at the Air Force Academy, we've kind of reversed the model. Most Air Force officers, including ourselves, are conditioned to take adventures wherever they arise, wherever the Air Force would ask them to go. And when this opportunity, as the president of the University of North Dakota, first arose, when I first learned about it, I said, this is an amazing, amazing institution with dedicated students, dedicated faculty members. And being involved in it would be consistent with how I've spent my life in service to the nation as an Air Force officer. And so the appeal to the position was great. And my wife and I said, let's head north. Let's see how we can contribute as a family. Kathy will be actively involved in campus and local community activities. And we'll proudly bear the title of president and Mrs. Armacost, Kathy, as the wife of the president of the University of North Dakota. It's an exciting time for both of us, and we're really going to relish this opportunity.
How long do you envision yourself staying at UND?
That's a great question that came up a lot during the interview. So I anticipate we will spend, I can't pick a number of years, but know that my commitment is a long-term commitment. This is not, I do not view this as a stepping stone to other opportunities, but rather I will live in the moment of leading this great institution and not looking forward to other opportunities that don't exist. So I can't pick a number, but know that my commitment is true, it's from the heart, and it's a long-term commitment on the part of me and my wife.
The Chancellor frequently talks about cybersecurity and the opportunity that could arise for an institution like this in cybersecurity research. And I noticed in one of your biographies that I read that you have some experience in coaching cybersecurity teams. So I wonder if you would reflect on that possibility.
The beauty of cyber as a discipline is it exists everywhere. And there's opportunities to create great programs on any campus. And my experience constructing and leading cyber programs, I have to give all the credit to our computer and cyber sciences department back at the Air Force Academy. But my role was in making sure that we had the resources, both the government funding and also private donor funding, to make sure we could operate world-class cyber teams. In fact, the cyber team at the Academy won the NSA's annual cyber challenge last year in a dominating way because we gave them the resources they needed to be successful. In addition, we identified the need for funding for a cyber innovation center. And so part of offering good programs is making sure you have the facilities and the resources to operate those. And so we engaged in a process of public-private partnership to construct the first ever Cyber Innovation Center at the Air Force Academy to the tune of about $60 million, half public and half private. And the goal there was, again, to provide a place and the resources the students and the faculty would need to deliver these highly successful cyber programs. I envision the same type of opportunity here at UND to invest in and develop a great capability with respect to cyber, with respect to big data, and also with respect to autonomy.
How do you envision balancing that aspect with liberal arts, something that's to a flagship like UND?
Well, there's definitely an opportunity to find balance and, more importantly, interplay between these disciplines. There's a great book called The Innovators by Walter Isaacson, which talks about the key contributions to the tech industry, to the IT and computing industry. And those contributions were made by people who were first humanities and artists, and later science and technology people, or vice versa. But the key was they were living at the intersection of the arts and humanities and the technical disciplines. And that's where the creativity really arose. And I see the same type of opportunity at the University of North Dakota to look at our liberal arts programs, our arts and humanities programs, and figure out where the synergies are with our technology-focused programs to really create that sense of creativity and innovation and inspiration. And so the university has a great goal. The first goal in the strategic plan is to focus on the liberal arts. And I think we need to maintain that focus, not in spite of technology, but because of technology. I think the presence of technology in more aspects of our lives demands a better understanding of what it means to be human. And the humanities provides exactly that perspective.